I've created many games for Windows Desktop and mobile, and now I'm moving to the iOS platform. Now, I've never created an app or game for iOS, so I used ChatGPT to convert my existing C# code to Godot script, and I got a working prototype in a few hours. Chippy also helped me to get things up and running, including the horror of deploying stuff to my phone. Now, when the first version was playable, I thought, oops, they might be right. AI will replace us developers. The first time I got something working on my Windows phone way back when, it took me weeks to accomplish this. But then I started to polish the game and I realized where the real power of a developer lies. Yes, AI can answer all my questions and come up with great suggestions and bug fixes, sometimes even before I think of them myself. But what AI cannot do yet is give me the idea and drive to make a game in the first place, or make sure I stick with it when things go wrong. It also cannot replace my, let's call it, I've done this many times and I know what steps to take and what things to avoid. These are highly subjective things that are driven by your gut feeling. You just feel what works and what doesn't. For example, since that initial version, I've decided to change the orientation of the game, and while 134 stones could easily fit on a huge screen, they were way too small for a small touchscreen, and AI could not feel that it was wrong. AI can also not predict the countless connection and configuration problems that arise when connecting multiple systems. AI can help to solve them, but it does not have access to the context of my development environment, including all my machines, router, services, internet connection, and so on. And this leads to another trait you need to possess to stay relevant. I'm working on games together with my partner, and she is not a developer. She creates puzzles and artwork. Now she can change code when needed and deploy stuff to her phone. But she still has that amazement of what the heck went wrong this time. An example, you just deployed 5 times to your iPhone and the next time you get some obscure connection error. Pure frustration that any experienced developer knows. How you deal with that is the difference between saying you will build something and actually doing it. The pragmatic developers, the ones who deliver, are willing to stick with it. They will try any suggestion, log out, log in, delete the cache, delete a folder, and eventually wipe the whole OS if they think it will help. And at such moments, the AI does not lay a hand on your shoulder, make you a coffee and say, "Don't worry, we'll fix this." In fact, I've noticed that when everything goes well, Chippy is quite fond of itself. But when things go wrong, suddenly it's my code that has the mistake. Have you seen that behavior as well? Let me know in the comments. But AI can still help. You just have to feed it relevant information, omit irrelevant information, and explain what you've already done and know how to ask the question. And you also have to push back when AI comes up with a not so great answer, or just ignore the AI and trust your gut feeling. Remember that AI is fed with billions of lines of code that might have been written by your idiot colleague Bert. And you know the quality of Bert's code. So, experience and persistence are of great value. Now this is good news for the experienced developers. And to beginner programs watching this, I will say to you what I always say during my courses. Practice, practice, practice. Don't wait for others. Build little scripts, apps, games, websites. It really doesn't matter. If nobody is waiting for your creation, just write for the dustbin. It is the same advice they give to songwriters. Just get the experience. It is not too late. It is never too late. Every line of code you write makes you smarter and more experienced. And try to create something across systems. Don't just write a Python script. Create a Django website with it. Or write a mobile app. Both examples require you to design the app, create some artwork, build a UI, write code, and deploy it somewhere. And be happy when your plan to deploy stuff fails at first contact with the enemy. Solving such meta problems gives you irreplaceable experience. So, while some developers simply resign themselves to the impending AI takeover, keep working on your long-term strategy. Increase your experience every day and be willing to stick with difficult problems. And of course, Keep coding yourself. And in this video I explain why I still love to write code in 2026.